Afternoon. How are we all doing? How's everybody going? Market's finally woken up. Finally a bit of movement. DAX is flying, which isn't good for me because I'm short at the moment. Only a 1% drawdown though, so no emergencies at the moment. We'll have a rundown of results first and then do the news as usual. See how everything's going. How is everybody? Afternoon, Crom, Derp, Martin, Neo, Berlino, Fletch, Diamond. How are we all doing? Brian, Becky, Frederick, Andrew, David, John. How are we all going? I shouldn't do the roll call every day. It takes ages. ADRs closed 0.18 this morning, 1.12 yesterday, sitting in 0.15. Just got 2 trades on ADRs at the moment. There are some ADRs today, so we'll get against more of those today at some point. H1s, H1 mean reversion banked 1.36 today, sitting in 0.25. Just 2 trades on. Again, the Samara size extended, so we should get into some more of those today as well. H4 M5 mean reversion drawdown control today 0.34, 1.6 in DD, 1% on the Euro CAD at the moment, but everything else is just there sitting, so nothing drastic there. And mean reversion, hedging H1 banked 2% today, up to 22.89% for the month, 5.6 DD. All going well still. Got a bit of movement now though, so hopefully some mean reversion opportunities coming. Pound Swiss just hit 125 ADR, so things are moving. Quick look at the news today. Nothing much else today. We had Bailey speaking earlier on. Didn't say anything exciting. Where are we? Back here. So Bailey basically, if there were to be evidence of more persistent pressures, then further tightening in monetary policy would be required. Usual stuff. If inflation goes up, we'll put up interest rates. Nothing exciting there. We're expecting interest rates to go up at least once more anyway. So nothing there that was really leading or indicative of what's going to happen. Apart from that, nothing much else really. We had a Federal Reserve poll, 5.25 to 5% max terminal rate, and this year, at the end of this year, is what they expect it to be at. So basically, just reaffirming that we've hit terminal rate. Possibility of 0.25% drop by end of year. Interestingly, economists now are saying that the recession is going to happen in the US. So negative US. In case necessary to avoid default, House Democrats will submit a discharge petition on lifting the debt ceiling. Not quite sure what that means, but 2 o'clock that came out. New Zealand dollar yen monthly range hit. Let's just have a quick look at what the US has done. Yeah, US tanking. Well, no, actually, no. US dollar CAD coming down. Canadian dollar rallying by the looks of things. Yeah, CAD's rallying. Aussie CAD coming down. CAD Swiss up. CAD yen up. So Canadian dollar's rallying. Let's have a look at oil. Ta-da! There we go. Oil's rallying. Canadian dollar's going with it. So we've got a bit of a movement on oil. That's why that's off. Morning, afternoon, EMAC. Morning, Jerry. Afternoon, Stefan Darigi. How do you think we get more ADRs in the late? Do you think we get more ADRs in the late New York session? I don't know. If the market moves, we will. Afternoon, Virginia. It means the Dems may have a way of having the House vote for a clean debt limit increase, but they need 5 Republicans to vote with them, which is unlikely, right? Okay. I really, this debt thing with the US. We've got 3 minutes to the open. I can't see it being a positive way. I think US dollar really, we should be looking neutral to weak moving forward. So I don't know, but is what it is. Market will move when the market moves. There's no point in trying to forecast what's going to happen with it. What's going to happen is going to happen. Buffer spinning circle. No buffering. I'm 100% fine. I have no dropped frames. Everything seems to be all right. It's 5 seconds, was it? Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, stream disconnected. Attempting to reconnect a few seconds ago, and it reconnected. If I do disappear, it's Virgin. So update on Virgin. 2 minutes to go. I've got an engineer coming out tomorrow morning between 8 and 12. So it'll be fixed tomorrow, whatever the problem is with the router. But it means that the stream might get interrupted tomorrow morning because if he turns up, I've got to stop streaming, obviously, because I've got to deal with him. So I'll be streaming as normal 7:50 tomorrow morning. But if the guy turns up at 8 o'clock, it'll be a very short stream. So there you go. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But the engineer's coming out tomorrow to look at the router. So it'll either be fixed, replaced, or I'll be off to Sky. Dow has had a bit of a rally today, along with everything else. Everything's gone up today. So S&P rising, NASDAQ rising, DAX rising. So the DAX has come up and taken out yesterday's high and previous high. We're just having a little reaction off of last Wednesday at the moment. Some limits triggering there. And we've got this weekly high, this last week's high. So this whole zone here, basically, on the DAX is a potential area we're going to drop from. So I'm short up here. I'd love to see the US indices collapse. But as the US seems to be a little weak, they're obviously having a bit of a rally. So looking at the Dow, this is your 5-minute pre-market. 24 seconds to go. That's your 15-minute pre-market. So depending on what range break, if you're taking a pre-market range break, it's either that or that at the open. If you're going to wait for the 5 minutes to go in and trade off of that, obviously you'll have to wait. But that's a nice rejection at that weekly level. Look. So that's pre-market 15 is there. Your 5-minute pre-market, you're short. That's target hit pretty much, isn't it? On the pre-market. I can never get it the right way around, ever. I hate fibs. So the pre-market 5-minute opening range break is that. You're already at 1.5 hour. Tick, done. So good, that 5-minute pre-market. When it works, it's absolutely killer. Love it. Afternoon, Michael. So there's your 5-minute. You're on a winner. Your 15-minute is there, and you are short. So for the Dow, itchy nose. I've got a cold. That's the horizontal line I drew on there. I don't know what that was. Yeah, sorry, that was one of my lines I drew on. Not quite sure why I drew that line on for some reason. Anyway, so your Dow at the minute, obviously we're in a big downtrend at the moment on the Dow. But we are coming straight back down into this potential 2-week support. So it's a wedge pattern. So this could break either way, really, today. But we'll see what happens. Upside potential, you've got to look at yesterday's high and then previous day's high, which is ADR today. Downside potential, you've got yesterday's low and 2-week low as your supports. It's going short at the moment. On DAX, if you could do the same, that would be absolutely lovely. Seems to be turning over at the top at the minute, so that's good. So yeah, so that's coming down. We'll see where that goes to. We've got quite a few ADRs to look at, quite a few RSIs. So we'll have a look at those in a minute. We'll just wait for this open to get done. Ooh, nice drop. Nice drop. DAX is doing the same. So looking good. Gold, Doriji? Duresh, even? Doriji, Duresh? Gold will be doing the opposite to what the US dollar's doing. Which is very tricky, actually, to see what the US dollar's up to at the minute. It's rallying at the moment. Yeah, US dollar's rallying, so gold will be coming down. So I'll be looking at these areas of support here. For a bounce. So if this continues to drop today down to here, I'd look for a long RSI extension. But it's on its way down at the moment. Go DAX. And Dow. Sorry, we should be concentrating on the Dow. NASDAQ. Let's watch the NASDAQ, see where the NASDAQ went as well. So NASDAQ's rallied up to the upside. We are seeing this virtually every day at the moment, isn't it? Whatever the Dow does at the open, the cash balance of the Dow is the opposite of the cash balance to the NASDAQ. It seems to be like clockwork. We are literally going the opposite direction. Very weird. But anyway, this isn't how it used to be. I remember I used to trade these all the time, scalping, when I was trading in a stock group. And these used to be really, really, really in sync, along with the S&P. I know the NASDAQ and the S&P are always in sync, but the Dow used to be as well. And this seems to be completely the opposite now. Something's changed since I was trading these before. But anyway, your NASDAQ break is to the upside at the moment. So if you took the 5-minute pre-market NASDAQ, you pretty much got a 1-to-1 out of that. The 15-minute, you are just sitting long at the moment in the same way as you're sitting short on that one. Did we get target on that? Trying it the wrong way. Useless with fibs. So we didn't quite get 1.5 hour, and it's pulled all the way back. So if you didn't get out, well, you wouldn't have got out on the pre-market with less than 1.5 hour. So you are possibly stopping out break even on that one today. Probably already stopped out break even, depending on what your trading stop was. NASDAQ completely undone. So bearish move on the NASDAQ. This is really lively today. A lot of volume coming through today. So we could be in for a big move in ADR today. Would be nice because we haven't had one for a while. So see where we go. But all looking very, very lively. Right. So there's your pre-market. So that's your 5-minute opening range break on the Dow. So see where we go from here. If we get the break to the downside, I really fancy a run down to 2-week low, which is going to be approximately 245 points to the downside, and then down to ADR. So ADR is 400 points at the moment. So roughly half an ADR move to the downside on the cards if we do break to the downside. So we'll see where we go from here. But market looks like it wants to go bearish at the moment. We'll see if that initial flurry gets rallied. DAX is coming down. DAX is about to give a reversal alert on 5-minute. We've just filled that propulsion gap on the 5-minute on the DAX. And we're watching this area here. So this whole zone, basically, for any signs of sellers coming in here, you've got at least to drop down to ADR to retest those lows. Quite possibly more, back down to last week's low. So there's really good downside on the DAX. And obviously, we're still eyeing up these targets to the downside for gap fills. So I like it here for potentially a hold. Not that I'll hold it, but okay, so inside bar currently on the Dow. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll come back to that in a minute. Right, ADRs. So monthly range hits. We've only got the Euro CAD. We looked at that one previously. Euro CAD on the monthly. That's still coming down further. So we're likely to get a bit more of an extension on that one. We've had a weekly hit now on the New Zealand dollar yen. So this is the first hit of the week. It is Wednesday. New Zealand dollar yen straight up into resistance. So that is last week's high. That's the 2-week high. So that's last week's high, which was a nice double top end pattern reversal. RSI is extended above the 75 level on the hourly. Really good, nice ADR extension, 125 ADR. So drop down M5, wait for the reversal alert on that one, which is just happened, literally just happened there. So you've had the reversal alert on it. So there's your entry, short, initial entry, 125, just short, just shy of 125 ADR. So good short entry there, New Zealand dollar yen. As you can see, in one. Already in one, actually, New Zealand dollar yen on the H1. Oh, got into it earlier. When do we get extended? Oh, yeah, we got extended 2 hours ago. So already in on that. So the initial M5 reversal alert was there. That was your first reversal alert on that candle. And then we've invalidated that high, put in an ADR hit. There's your second. So if you didn't get in on the first one, that's the H1 M5 mean reversion entry. This is the ADR reversal entry. So either or, either way, whichever strategy you're trading, if you are trading on New Zealand dollar yen, you're in. And that is obviously also a weekly range extension. So our weekly range started there. That is the normal weekly range, put in 100% of it. So ideally looking for a pullback. Not great targets to the downside, I have to say on this. This is a massive rally, but a lot of limit orders triggered up at that level. So if that level holds, this shooting star holds, we're going to get a pullback on it. Little propulsion gap there, just above the support rectangle on the hourly. We got this one down here. Obviously much bigger targets to the downside. Came out of that one there nicely. So potential drop down to 175 ADR over a period of like 3-5 days or so. But we'll see what happens with the New Zealand and see what happens with the yen. So that's your weekly. Obviously that's an ADR we've just looked at. New Zealand dollar Swiss. Let me just get the Dow up over here so I can watch it. It's calmed right down the Dow. We're just sitting inside bar now, look. So that initial cash balance, 5-minute opening range, we went inside bar. No volume. Literally had that big volume coming and nothing. So really quiet 5 minutes. New Zealand dollar Swiss is 125 ADR. So this is pushed up into propulsion. 125 ADR, we're getting a little rejection. 3 propulsion gaps to the downside on the hourly. So that's a nice short. We've got all these ones down here as well. Swiss franc, really weak today. So everything's rallied against the Swiss franc. M5 reversal alert is miles away. So you're not going to get a reversal alert until you're down below the 100 ADR level, because that has just gone straight parabolic and hasn't stopped. There's not been one down candle all the way up there. So you would need to, if you want to get in on this, you need to take price action entry. So that low and that low, basically, if we break that you could class that as a structure break, but officially, really, you want to wait for it to break down below where the last batch of sellers were, which is here. So that's a bit of a tricky one to get into. M15, same spot. So a bit of a tricky one to get into New Zealand dollar Swiss. Pound Swiss, that one's rallied as well on the Swiss franc weakness, 125 ADR. You got a nice target to the downside on that. Here, from this accumulation break, and then we accumulated news. We've tested that now 4 times, rallied out of it. So potential for this to run back up into that high. That would be a target to the downside. So nice, quick entry. You're not going to get in that either. Again, this Swiss franc just had a really big, strong, weak move against it. So parabolic again. Entry is not down below 100 ADR. So tough to get into that one as well. Pound Swiss and Euro Swiss. Euro New Zealand, unless you're going to take price action, obviously, which is another option. Euro New Zealand, nicely extended. Reversal alert is there. So that's a nice tight entry. Good New Zealand dollar strength coming through at the moment. So looking at that one, targets to the upside here. Potentially we're pulling out of this accumulation break. So good looking long RSI extension as well. That looks great. Drop down M5. That's a nice tight one, that one. So you're going to get in there. Third of an ADR is somewhere around about 45 pips. That's 50. So even if it just pulls back up into there, that's 50. So nice, easy in and out today. If the Euro New Zealand has a little bit of a rally, Euro's due a bit of a rally. CAD Swiss extended. Big extension to the upside. Reversal. You got 2 minutes left on this candle. It's just about to give the reversal alert structure break there. So again, nice drop down below ADR. Hourly propulsion targets. Nice, simple. Same as that. Pop. Coming back down into there, on there. If it wants to rally, if it doesn't, obviously we'll just come down. So yeah, it looks good. CAD Swiss for a short and Aussie Swiss. So all about the Swissy today. Only thing I've got zero exposure on. Ooh, Dow's coming down. We're just about to test the 5-minute opening range low. Inside bar though, still on the 5-minute. So not gone anywhere. So this is break. So the pre-market 5:15 break worked to a certain extent. Looks like it wants to go short. Aussie dollar Swiss. Sorry, yeah. So that's an ADR hit. Beautiful support area. So that is yesterday's high. That is previous day's high. So we had a rejection there previously. Propulsion gap fill just done. There is a propulsion gap to the upside. We got this old one up here as well, which is also last week's high. So entry on this one. Initial entry there on an ADR reversal. Second entry somewhere up in that propulsion. Third, if you wanted it up there, that is if you're scaling in half an ADR apart. If you're going to get 3/4 to an ADR apart, you'd be getting into his first entry here on a reversal alert when you get it. Second entry will be up there somewhere. So drop down, M5. Yeah, going to get a nice tight entry on this one as well. So it's accumulating there. Potentially sellers starting to step in. Look for a third of an ADR to a half of an ADR. 26 pips is half an ADR. 26 is there. That propulsion gap, that support. So there's your previous resistance. That's where we're potentially going to test again, which is half an ADR. So you get out somewhere between third to a half an ADR. So nice looking short opportunity, Aussie dollar Swiss. Obviously with the Swiss franc, third inside bar candle just got in. There's your 5-minute opening range. Inside bar on that opening range. We're still inside. So the initial cash balance move is over. 15 minutes done. So break of this area here, probably going to be the direction for the session, unless we're going to go into rotation, obviously. So yeah, there we go. There's all your ADRs covered. Quite a few opportunities, all Swiss franc apart from Euro New Zealand and New Zealand yen. So Swiss franc is the main mover today. Obviously, being the Swiss franc, it could continue with its weakness and everything could carry on pushing against it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, good moves. Sitting on an inside bar at the moment now. Again, inside bar on an inside bar. Dreska, afternoon. Joanna, Euro US dollar, possible long ADR extension. Euro US dollar hasn't hit ADR. Nowhere near. Miles away from ADR. Down it. Not there. Not yet. RSI, you mean? Oh, sorry. If you want to take the 70, yeah. Yep. I'll have a look at the RSIs in a minute. There's quite a few RSIs. Euro US dollar we'll look at because it is extended on the hourly. Hendrik, lot 0.1. How much capital need? Using EA reversal, capital US dollar 1,000. Can used how many pair? What? Go and watch the Bootcamp, Hendrik, even. I can't really answer that question. It's too complicated. You need to watch the Bootcamp. It's all explained in there. If you use the EA will automatically calculate your risk for you based on your percentage risk. So if you risk 0.25% on a half an ADR move, which is what I use, you're not going to get into too much trouble. But with $1,000, you're only going to take 0.01s, maybe 0.02s on some pairs. So limit your exposure as per the rules, 2 in each direction, as usual. You shouldn't be asking these questions if you've watched the bootcamp. But if you've got the EA and you haven't watched the bootcamp, go and watch the bootcamp. Link's going along the bottom. Just coming on now, look. The mst.info/bootcamp. Go and watch that. Afternoon, Gabor. New Zealand dollar yen is short. It is. Right, Dow is just at the low. If you're using an offset, you're not in yet. Now you are. Well, it depends on what your offset is, but I'm using 1.5 to 2 pip offset, so I'm in short on that. So yeah, we are breaking to the downside. So assuming this break continues, we're looking for a move back down to yesterday's low, which is around about 140, and then last week's low is 200 odd. So 150 to 200 point move to the downside. We might get a bounce off of this propulsion gap. So this propulsion gap is obviously where we broke that high. So watch that area as well for a bounce. But we got a break yet. At the moment, it's not looking very convincing. We've got huge wicks to the downside. A minute. So there's a lot of buy resistance at the moment to the sellers. So not really making any progress. So we'll see what the NASDAQ's up to before we have a look at the RSIs. NAS has broken short. Just about to get a reversal alert on that. Look at those. Ooh, that's a short. If ever I saw, that is a short. Mr. Week is in the building. You got 15 seconds left. About to get a reversal alert on the NASDAQ as well. All looking shorts. There we go. There's your reversal alert short as well. Opening range break confirmed short. So see where we go from there. All right, let's have a look at the RSIs. There's quite a few of these to look at as well. Diamond, in my opinion, you need a minimum of 2K to trade something like H1M5 for the risk to be, or the risk will be too high. Yeah, it will be. Basically, if you're trying to position trade, with position trading, it all depends on the market movement when you get in. But if you're getting in with $1,000 account and you can only take 0.01s, you can't do drawdown control. Yeah, so you're reliant on the market going well because you can't close out part of your positions because you can't close part of a 0.01. So if you trade a 0.02, you can only do 50% drawdown control. You can only close out 50% of that trade and turn it into a 0.1. So when you start getting up to 2 to 3K, the EA, depending on your risk parameters, will start to take 0.03s. That's really what I would recommend is your minimum lot size to trade with position trading, because as you're going into drawdown, you can scale out of a third of that position, which is what I like to do. Scaling out of a third is good for keeping your drawdown under control to a certain limit, but not taking too much loss along the way that you make huge losses on your account. But there is no right or wrong. So if you've got the EA, it will auto calculate your lot sizing for you anyway. So if you've got $1,000 balance and it can only get in with a 0.2, that's what it's going to do. As Diamond said, 3 to 5K upwards really is what you want to be looking at, ideally. DAX is puking. It is. Which makes me smile. Not enough though. I want it to puke more. I want it to puke down to about 158.80. I want it to puke down to here. That would make me very happy. we can get down to there, I should be able to bank another 1%, which takes me up to 8.7. Very nice. 0.01 lots on a 1K account, euro US dollar, is actually 0.38% risk right now. Yeah, okay. So yeah, there you go. I mean, you can only trade with what you can trade with. If you, and you know, I've said this before, and I'll say it forever. You need money to make money. This is a business like any other business. If you want to run this as a business and make money out of it, you need starting capital. If you haven't got starting capital, don't expect to be able to make a business work. You can't start a shop with no capital. Either get a loan, which I wouldn't recommend, because you shouldn't trade with money you can't afford to lose, because as we know from the brokers' statements, 70 to 80% of people lose money. Therefore, anything you put in your brokerage, kiss it goodbye. If it's still there in 6 months, good job, basically. So, yeah, you need some money to start trading with. You can't start trading with $500 and expect to make $500 a month. It's not going to happen. Bearish engulfing forming. We've got 6 minutes left on these candles. Bearish engulfing forming very nicely up at resistance on the DAX. I'm just watching that because I've got a good short on it. I've got a fair bit of size on it, so I'm keeping a very close eye on the DAX at the minute. Right, RSIs. We'll start from the top on the hourlies. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. Coming down very nice, very hard. Got out of that one yesterday from the short, from that extension. We've now extended back down here. This is only a 70 at the moment. However, if this does drive down to ADR or test that last week's low, that'll be another entry back up for a mean reversion. This is basically putting in an A-shaped recovery over the period of a week. So I wouldn't be surprised if this did manage to get down to here, but we are expecting some bullish movement, potentially on the Aussie, because it's been fairly weak. So difficult to tell with this one. It's a short from a long-term perspective still. But at the moment, we've put in a low, high, higher low. So this could be where we come back up and try to put in a new high from the Aussie New Zealand. It could be that move there is starting to form contraction. And if that's the case, we're going to push back up. So it looks like a good long at the moment, intraday. So if you look at the market structure, we had this high up here. We pushed down, put in a low, higher, low, lower low, sorry, lower high, another lower high, a lower low, a higher high. So that's a market structure break to the upside. Now we're putting in a higher low to go higher high. So this could be the turning point. So this is where you want to be buying it if you think that that is the peak formation low and we're off. So RSI extension looks very, very good. So drop down M5. You've had the reversal alert. So we'll see what happens. But coming down hard. So it's quite difficult to take mean reversions against a move that's that strong and that fast. So 2 days solid down. But we had 2 days solid up before the 2 days solid down started. So we've had 2 days solid down. So why not another 2 days solid up? Does what the hell it likes, doesn't it? So get in. Don't think about it. Just do it. Aussie New Zealand. CAD yen extended to the upside. Lovely reversal candle going in. 5 minute reversal is already happened. So that's a really nice extension. Only the 70 again. So last time we got there, we had, look at this, exactly the same pattern. Look, big strong push up, shooting star, drop 50%. Big strong push up, shooting star. Who knows? So it looks good for a short. It's only just extended though, not quite enough for me. Last entry I had, as you can see, was there. And then a little bit of drawdown and exit. Good target to the downside though on H1. And we've got this one down here, which we didn't manage to get to. So good downside targets. We need some strength on the yen. That Canadian dollar though is flying with oil. However, oil's just pulling back, and so is the CAD. We've got oil inventories coming out in half an hour. So oil is going to rally or dump in half an hour. A lot limit orders triggered there. So sellers protecting that area, protecting that high. So we'll see. Oil inventories are going to move it in half an hour. So we'll see what happens then. Euro New Zealand. Big drop to the downside. That's extended. Just about to get a long entry on that one. Oh, the reversal, that's just gone. Missed it. So that is now extended. It hasn't closed extended yet, which is why I'm not in it. The last closed candle was above the 75. It's sitting open below 75 at the moment, but not closed. So another 2 minutes on that one. So what I'm going to need to get into this one is this reversal to invalidate and push down and then reverse again. Then I'll get into another opportunity there. So that's extended nicely. You've got the reversal alert. If you want to go early on it now, go for it. Looks good. So it's pushing out of this propulsion gap. Nice accumulation break. Yeah, came back, retested, rallied. All these propulsion gaps are now all filled apart from that one. So it has got more downside potential, and we've obviously got that low. So again, good bounce opportunity. This is the ADR we looked at a minute ago, Euro New Zealand. So same analysis. Euro US dollar extended to the downside. So this is a 4-hour and an hourly extension. So we were extended below on the hourly. That is still coming down as well. Weird divergence, isn't it? Look. Bear candle, RSI ticking up. Bullish divergence. Very weird RSI reading on that. But so the propulsion gap filled there. We've got this last one to do, this V-shaped recovery here. The V-shaped recovery propulsion gaps are less impactive, and especially when they're that old. It's the accumulations breaks. Those propulsion gaps are the ones which tend to get tested and support more. These, when they're part of a V-shaped recovery, is just the market grinding to a halt and doing a U-turn. So yes, there was a lot of buyers in there, but they didn't start a move. They just reversed an existing move and did a profit take on it. So this is all part of a pullback look. So ADR extension would be a nice looking long opportunity on that. Back up into that support. So we've got that support pushed up. Next bounce, quite possibly going to hit resistance and bounce back down from it. However, Euro, we are looking for longs. US dollar Swiss is an ADR as well now. RSI rather. So we are looking for longs on the Euro, and the US dollar potentially weak. So if the US dollar is going to continue to be weak and the Euro is going to strengthen up, this is a massive long. But we're not seeing that strength in the Euro yet. The DAX is coming down quite hard. So I would expect to see some strength in the Euro. It looks to me like this US dollar is rallying fairly hard. Yeah, it's moving up a lot. So this is US dollar strength holding the Euro down at the moment. Big strong move in the US. Just market movement, basically. There's no news. So that's a good looking long opportunity on the hourly. 4-hourly RSI extension to the downside, nicely extended below the 30, below the 25. So again, where we are here, that long that I got out of, same trade, getting again long. Just wait for the reversal alert on it, which you haven't had. So, yes, you have, sorry. No, you've already had a reversal alert. So the 4-hour, you'd be in that. Potentially putting a W in. But as I say, obvious level coming up for a bounce further down. So there is a little bit more downside. If we get an ADR hit on this, I think that's probably where we get the bounce today. But you can get in now or wait to get down there. Obviously, if you wait to get in down here and it just goes from there, you're going to miss it. If you miss it, you miss it. Wait for the next bus. But it looks good. So that's Euro, US dollar. Euro New Zealand has just lit up now with an extension on the 25. So we did get that 25 extension on the hourly, although it's ticked up. So US dollar yen's just hit ADR. It's all going on today. We're going to look at that one anyway because it's extended on the hourly and the 4-hourly. Next one is pound New Zealand. extended on the hourly below the 30 level, sorry, in a propulsion gap. So again, good area for a bounce. So market structure, very simple: high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, higher, lower, higher. So looking to go up. US dollar Swiss ADR as well. And again, we're going to look at that one because that's extended on the hourly. So yeah, good looking opportunity for that pound New Zealand for a long. Got any New Zealand dollar on at the moment, and I have got a pound short against the yen though. Looks good. That going to hedge me against the yen though. I'm going to leave it for the minute. I'm not going to take it myself right now, but it is a good one. I like the look of it. Pound New Zealand. I think the pound's got some strength coming. Bailey didn't talk up the pound today very much at all. I was expecting a bit more out of him. We've got no more real news on the pound this week to rally it. So at the moment, the pound might well stagnate a little bit and get pushed around. So we'll have to wait and see. But I like the look of that anyway. For a long. New Zealand dollar Swiss extended on the hourly to the upside. That's a nice looking short opportunity off of ADR. So that's an ADR reversal out of there. We've already looked at this one. Extended on the hourly above the high now there. New Zealand dollar yen, same thing. We've looked at this one. Nice extension, nice rejection. Potential 3-bar reversal going in. One short already on that one from earlier on today. So those RSI extensions ready for shorts. Pound yen and US yen. I can't really take another yen. US dollar Swiss extended to the upside. So that's just hit. So we've got a strong US dollar move at the moment. We've got a weak weak Swiss franc. Obviously, perfect storm. This one's rallying hard. This is now extended on the RSI above the 30 level, just coming up. Above the 70 level, just coming up above the 75. So big, strong push on this. Let's have a look at where we're going. We've just killed that propulsion gap. So we've got these propulsion gaps to the upside, 150 to 175 ADR, previous monthly low. So that area there, 150 to 175, this accumulation, somewhere around there is where I would be looking for some kind of resistance to kick in. Really anywhere in there. So got that area there. We pushed down and through. We came up, rejected that area again. We accumulated in there for an entire week before we broke. So somewhere in here, you're going to find some selling price action. How strong it's going to be, obviously, we don't know, but nice extension. So we'd be looking for some kind of pullback out of that zone. So yeah, ready to get into now, really, US dollar Swiss. Wait for some kind of reversal, though, some kind of structure break. So that's your reversal alert at the moment. There's ADR. So fairly tight entry as well. But wait, we want to see some sellers on board before we get into any of these. So this thing could, the reason we use the reversal alert indicator, sometimes it gets you in a little late, but it confirms that we have actually got sellers on side. If you just hit the sell button right now, there's absolutely no reason why this shouldn't shoot up to 200 ADR today. Yeah, you need the sellers on board before you get into a trade, which is what the reverse alerts indicators there for and what the EA triggers on. That's why it triggers on that, because we're waiting for signs of strength in the direction we want to go. So this thing at the moment could well just push like this for the rest of the day up to 150 ADR. So you don't want to just get in because it's extended. Get in when you've got some guys on board that are going your way. So nicely extended though, ready to go. 4 hour, we're above the 70 level on that as well. But this is a breakout. You know that 80% of breakouts fail. So it is a breakout of these highs. So we got this area here acting as potential. That was previous support, which is going to act as resistance. Yeah. There's our previous support, which broke. We came back up. We retested this area. Yeah, so this whole zone here, if we're going to continue this downtrend, is where I'd expect the sellers to start to kick in. We need some Swiss franc strength, really. So good extension on the hourly and the 4 hourly. And obviously it's an ADR hit. So 3 reasons to get short: US dollar Swiss and US dollar yen we've kind of looked at already. That's an ADR hit to the upside now. And that is an hourly RSI extension above the 75, already in one short. 4-hour RSI extension above 80. So this is really extended. So 80 level. We do get above the 80 on this one. US dollar yen is one of those things where we get the opposite reaction all the time. So the US dollar yen is one of those that really does go for it and push. And this is why the yen intervention tends to happen on it. So we are extended above the 80. If you look at where we're headed, we've got a 2-month high there, which is a really nice level, which is sitting around 150 ADR. So if we go in and have a look, this level here and last week's high is 150 ADR. So if we can get an extension up to 150 ADR, your RSI is massively extended on the 4-hour. Hourly, you're going to be extended. So yeah, ready for a profit take move. This one, basically, we've had a rally, little accumulation, break. So there's a little flag break in there. So 1 leg, 2 leg. If you believe in the 3-leg cycles, then obviously we've got one more to the upside, haven't we? And then you're going to look for areas up here to get resistive. That's really all I would look at. That's a long way away. Unlikely we're ever going to propel all the way up to there without any kind of pullback. So nice looking short opportunity US dollar yen. Already in it on the H1, M5. Got into that one this morning. So yeah, waiting for a leg. So there's your RSI extensions. So loads of opportunities. Euro CAD, there's a few others lit up while I was talking. So Euro CAD, I think we looked at, didn't we? That's already gone. CAD yen we looked at. CAD Swiss. Yeah, already gone. Aussie New Zealand. Yeah, so we have looked at all of them, haven't we? All starting to unravel. DAX is just starting to rally back up a little bit. Let's look at the DOW. So the DOW breakout held. And we've just retested that propulsion gap. They've stepped back in, added more shorts. So see where we go. Nice bounce out of propulsion, up to propulsion. Okay. That is your analysis done. Euro not happy, Michael? No, Euro's not happy at the minute. Euro's not happy. Swiss franc's not happy, although it is getting a little happier. Whether or not it can get happy enough, we will find out. But yeah, big drops on the euro at the moment. This euro's really struggled off the back of the interest rate increase. It's just not managed. That was your interest rates. It's not managed to recover much at all since the market basically dumped because we didn't get the 4 and we got the 3.75 interest rate and wasn't happy. So I'm not quite sure what they're waiting for at the minute, but there's no reason we should be this weak on it. And there's no reason we should be this strong on the US dollar either. So a lot of these moves I think you're going to find are going to unravel fairly fast. AMAR, pound US dollar. Pound US dollar's just come off the monthly highs. So that was your 2-week monthly high. We've been accumulating around that level for absolutely ages. So it's just sideways at the minute. You had an extension on this one on the hourly below the 70, which is rallying a little bit, but not massively extended. Last entry for me on the pound US dollar was last week on Friday. Was there and exited Monday. Just sideways at the minute. Bullish, but very, very, very nice structure to it. It's push, pull, push, pull, push, pull all the way. Basically, the pound is bullish, but not massively strong. The US dollar is all over the place at the moment. You flip a coin every day and the US dollar will go a different direction. So doesn't matter which way you trade this, just wait for the market to be extended and stretched, ready for a profit take move, and just get in when they're stretched. There's no point in getting in here. This could go anywhere. Upside more than downside, I would say, at the moment. But then again, we've got a lot of downside potential on this. It's going to need the US dollar to be massively strong. With what's going on in the US at the moment, I can't see the US being strong. They're talking about recession. The Fed have been talking recession down for a year. Economists are now saying, doesn't look like you're right. I reckon it's going wrong. And especially if they default. So pound up, US down. But, you know, the Fed have an uncanny knack of sorting things out by printing more money and doing things like that. So we'll see. But afternoon, Kenley. Tim, if I miss an entry and wait for the pullback signal, how long does the pullback signal last before it is no longer valid? Is it based on time, since a reversal signal or distance? No, so there's no time limit on the reversal alert retest. So here, for example, it's a perfect example. Look at that. So there's your reversal alert. Well, there you go. Let's look at this one. There's your reversal alert. There's your retest. So all the retest is if we've had a reversal alert, yeah, and price pushes back up and closes above the reversal alert, yeah, the next time it closes down below the reversal alert without invalidating the high, that is your retest. Yeah. So it could, in theory, come down here, muck about like this, and that would be your reversal alert there, because it broke down below that low. However, if you get a reversal alert in the opposite direction, obviously, you wouldn't pay as much attention to that. And the reversal alert in the opposite direction will be dependent on the strength of the movement. And if we don't get a strong enough move to trigger some kind of reaction, we will have time. After a period of time, it will then say, right, well, let's have a look long. So this is why when you see something accumulating, you tend to get a reverse alert, reverse alert, reverse alert, reverse alert. There was one I saw a minute ago that had two rectangles like that. And neither of them was a reverse alert because it's just gone sideways for such a long time. And that will happen as well occasionally, but there's no time limit on it. The idea behind the that's a perfect example, actually, that this one here. The idea behind this arrow, and it's never going to be perfect, is it draws an M pattern reversal. So your reversal patterns are that M pattern reversal lower high, M pattern reversal double top, or an M pattern reversal where you get a stop run. Yeah. So the idea behind this is it will be one of those two. So we get a high put in, we break down. We retest the area, and then we break down. M pattern. So that is your confirmation signal that this market structure high held, and we retested it and it held and looks like it's a good short. Sometimes you just get the reversal alert, like this one here. When that breaks above that level, you'll get the arrow above that candle. But sometimes you get the reversal alert and it never retests it. Yeah. So this one here, we broke, never came back up into that area, never closed back up in here at all. It just went, which is why I don't take the retest personally myself. I just get in because I've found over time they are a stronger signal. If you're using a stop loss, these are much better. However, you will miss loads that don't retest. Loads of opportunities that just don't retest. So there's no right or wrong. The indicator's flexible and versatile enough that you decide how you want to trade it. But look at this one here. Look, this is a bit of a tight one. So you got the reversal alert there. We pushed up, we mucked about for quite a while in here, and then we even came down further. and then we went up. But this is kind of, all this is a range look. Your best reversal alerts are the ones that happen after a strong push, because we're looking for the profit take move to kick in. This is just a sideways accumulation. Just a horrible price action. But that candle there, yeah. So this one here, that red candle closed below the high, the break of the structure. And then the next candle afterwards pushed up and closed above it. So that's why you get that there. So what it's done is it's gone like that. But in this case, what it did was carried on accumulating for hours and then decided to rally. There's no right or wrong preference. New Zealand Swiss has gone back into profit. Dow is coming down nicely. Just made a new low. So on our way down to test last week's low. Yesterday's low, first stop. Last week's low, second stop. Come on, DAX. Copy the Dow. Get you down here. Where I want it. Do you have the GDP QOQ for Friday on Feedle? What? Fiddlecrest say there's GDP figures on Friday, does it? If it is, it's so weak news that for the yen, CPI, year-on-year CPI for the yen on Friday. There isn't any GDP for the yen. Well, not. I mean, there might be, but not on Forex Factory. It's not important enough. GDP figures are important. The yen. The reason the news for the yen is not as important for everything else is because the yen, basically, the Japanese do not change their interest rates. So all the stuff that we measure all the time, so we measure all the fundamentals for all the pairs. But when you've got a currency that doesn't do anything with it, news is not impacted, because the whole purpose of monitoring inflation, GDP, and unemployment is because they're leading indicators to drive interest rate change. They don't do that, so we don't care about the GDP. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to affect the currency. So they just don't report it, but it might well be there, and you will get some movement off of it. Where are we? What's the date on Friday, 19th? Japanese CPI. I mean, there is no mention of it, so don't know. But if Fidelcrest say that you cannot trade through it, don't trade through it. I'll be asleep anyway. Anyway, that's not funded. I'm on a valuation on it, so it doesn't make any difference to me. But yeah, it's not major news. Venugopal, did you notice margin in Fidel is too high? And that's incorrect to leverage. They mentioned as 1 to 200. No idea. Don't know. I don't pay any attention to the margin. I would find it very difficult to hit any kind of leverage limit on a funded account. But you have got different margins on different instruments. So your margin requirement is different on index as it is to Forex. So if you're trading a lot of indexes, they take a lot more margin. So if you've got the leverage, I don't know what the leverage is. I can find out. I can program an EA to get the leverage. In fact, it does say on the account. You find, I don't think you can see leverage, can you, anywhere in? You can get it, but I don't think it's displayed anywhere, is it? So there's your margin requirements. So your margin requirement, margin percentage is 1,000 for the DAX. For a Forex pair, it's 100. Yeah. So see, the margin percentage there is 100. For the DAX, it's 1,000. So you if you're going to trade indices, you'll find that your available margin will go down a lot faster. So you just got to keep that in mind. Different instruments have different requirements for leverage. Just about to get reversal alert. New Zealand dollar Swiss M15. That's the 125 ADR. 5 minute is just triggered. Look at that for a look at that. Boom. Huge green move. Tiny little down candle there in that accumulation. Bang, off we go. So Swiss franc is awake. Big style. So we got some movement on the Swissy. Everything starting to reverse on the Swiss franc. So if you took any the Swiss franc ADR reversals, your quid's in probably. Let's have a look. 0.3. Oh, there you go. ADR reversal set files. Look at that. Bing, all green. 0.37 banked. So Aussie dollar Swiss, New Zealand Swiss, and US Swiss. All profit. In profit. 180 is roughly the close point. So Aussie dollar Swiss is probably going to close out in a minute. All good. Come on, DAX. Don't do this. Do that. Right. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at or anything else they want to discuss? Because I've covered all the analysis for this afternoon. So loads of ADR reversals. Most of those are playing out on the Swissies already, and loads of RSI extensions. So lots of opportunities to get into stuff today, which is good. Tomorrow morning, I will be on at 7:50, but the guy's phoning me. The engineer's phoning me in the morning from Virgin about my internet, because I've got him coming around tomorrow morning. So I'll let you know. If he says he's coming at 8, between 8 and 8:15, there's no point in me streaming tomorrow. So I will post in the Telegram group what I'm going to do. Hopefully he'll just not phone until whatever time, and then we'll be able to just get the stream done. So at least if I can get half an hour done tomorrow morning between 7:50 and 8:30, at least we can do the open, we can do all the analysis and everything. So fingers crossed. But if he does say he's coming at 8 o'clock in the morning and we're first call, obviously I'll post in the Telegram group, but no one cares. So Euro US dollar long, US dollar yen sells. Yep. So Euro US dollar. RSI extension to the downside. It's not really long enough for me yet, but it's, you want to be more long than short on it, don't you, really? But whether you take it now is up to you. I would suggest we're looking at least to come back up and retest there at some point. Seems an obvious support level to come and retest. We have retested it once as soon as we broke it and failed. So that's where I'd be looking to go to. But again, all dependent on this. We're going to get continuation strength on the euro because of rate increases, and the US dollar is going to default on its debts. This thing's going to fly, isn't it? We could easily have a, think about when we get these 200, 300 ADR moves on fundamental shifts. Yeah, that's 200 ADR. Second day of 100 ADR, we're back up there by the end of this week. So, I mean, it's not going to happen this week, is it? But yeah, it looks like a good long US dollar yen extended to the upside. So don't forget, everything you trade, there's two currencies at play. Yeah. So if you go long on the euro US dollar, you are shorting the US dollar. Yeah. So you're saying, I want to go long on the euro against the US dollar, and I want to go short on the US dollar. If you're shorting the US dollar yen, you are shorting the US dollar and longing the yen. Yeah. So you're double exposing yourself short US dollar. Absolutely fine. So long euro US dollar, short US dollar yen, you are taking your exposure short on the US. If the US pumps, both of those are going to go into drawdown. However, if the US goes sideways, yen goes sideways, this is going to do that. If while that's happening, the euro and the Swiss franc have a push, your euro US dollar will hit target and your US dollar yen won't move, because the euro can move independently and move the euro US dollar up. But that doesn't mean the US dollar yen is going to go anywhere, because it's the US and the yen. Euro doesn't impact it. So nothing wrong with taking both of those positions. Good luck for the internet. I don't need luck. It's basically, I'm 99% sure it's a broken router. I should work for their support department. Not really difficult, is it? My wired internet connections, of which there are 3 in the house, all went off. Every piece of Wi-Fi is still working. So the Wi-Fi on the router is fine. The outputs for the wired connections are broken. There is no other opportunity. There's nothing else that can be wrong with it, is there really? So it's a replacement router or a fix. One or the other. The engineer is going to sort it tomorrow. So you watch. It will go wrong tomorrow afternoon. Tell Branson to get his crap together. Yeah. He's on the verge of losing me to Sky anyway, because I really fancy having HBO. Well, last time was failsafe my side. All wire broken. It's not the cable. It can't be the cable out of my router, because there's 3 of them. One goes into the telly, one goes into this machine, one goes into another computer. So it's not a single cable. It has to be all cables, which is not, or the router outputs. And why is all trader are having internet connection? Said Obama, I don't understand what you just said. Crude oil inventories out, 5 million, forecast negative 0.2. That's negative oil. Theoretically, it's negative oil. Whether it is actually going to be negative oil, oil does its own thing. Why is all traders having internet connection problems? I don't know. I haven't had any for years. I've been living in this house for 4 years. The last 4 weeks I haven't had any problems until the last 4 weeks. And they're only intermittent. So I wouldn't say, well, that's a bit of a sweeping statement. All traders everywhere in the world? I don't think that is really true. I don't have problems anyway, normally. So there's your news on oil. To see if we get any kick off that. So if inventories are up, we were forecasting a negative 2 million barrel change. What we got is a plus 5 million, which means there's more stock available. So there's more supply. If there's more supply and demand remains the same, prices of products drop. So that's negative oil. Doesn't seem to really care though at the moment, which we find with oil a lot. It really doesn't pay any attention whatsoever to the rules of supply and demand. This high is holding at the minute, so we'll see. Give it some time though for the market to absorb that. But I really think it's going to. Amar, gold. I have done gold already. It's coming down because the US is rallying. So I'd be looking at bounces off of this support, exactly where we are now, exactly where we've bounced. So you missed it earlier, but what I said was wait for it to come back down into these black lines here, which is the support, and bounce. Lo and behold, bounced. Reversal alerts in. So that would indicate a weak US dollar, but I don't know. Maybe not. There's a hell of a lot of downside on this. But we're going to require the US dollar to strengthen up to get anywhere near that. And the US dollar is not strong at the moment. So that's a really good support for a bounce back up to retest these highs. Propulsion gap targets to the upside, galore. That one specifically at 175 ADR. Previous day's high, basically. Who knows, though? It's gold. Does what the hell it likes. Right, I'll leave it there. DAX is stuck. Dow is also stuck. So opening range on the Dow today was useless. The 15-minute and the 5 are the same. So today's opening range breakout, you've got a 1-to-1, which if you're not taking a 1-to-1, which you shouldn't be because it's obviously not a positive risk-reward ratio. But if you took that and you're using any kind of trailing stop, you would have been taken out on that candle flat. So depending on if you're taking retests or not, you've just got in short again here as a second attempt. So see if we get that. So high, low, lower, high, push down. But really stuck today, the Dow. Very nice pre-market though. Again, pre-market opening range breaks at the minute are absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. So many people are emailing me on or messaging me on Telegram saying they're passing evaluations on the pre-market set file. It's just, you know, like I said, it'll work sometimes, and when it works, it kills it. And if you get it working 3, 4, 5 times in a row, you can pass an evaluation. If you risk 1% on an ORB and you get 1.5R, that's 1.5%. Yeah, you get 4 or 5 of those on the trot, you pretty much pass your evaluation. If you do the DAX in the morning and the Dow in the afternoon, and you have really good ORBs, you're done. So a lot of people are doing absolutely killing it with this at the moment. It's not always going to be the case, though. Yeah, you've got to be aware that these 5-minute and 15-minute pre's, they are going to whipsaw sometimes. So you're going to give some of it back at points, but absolutely killing it at the moment. That pre-market 5 today was, I mean, you would use a trailing stop with it usually, but if you, I mean, again, I haven't really tested not using a trailing stop with it. And testing the risk reward ratios. But I mean, you can see the risk reward ratio on that there is absolutely huge. Let's add another one in just for good measure. Not that we ever get to 7-to-1 that often, but that was 7R return on that today. Look, 5-minute pre-market, boom. V nice. You would have been taken out on a trailer though on that. You wouldn't have got that unless you held it. You'd have to hold it to a 7-to-1 target, which you wouldn't do unless you were targeting that propulsion gap, which you might do. I don't know. Do what you like. Everyone does different. Tim, talking supply demand, I'm long on soybeans. They've been saying that production is massively down in countries struggling economically. Argentina, cutting production. Still no bleeding bounce. Long on soybeans, eh? Have we got a global shortage of soybeans? I don't eat soybeans, so I wouldn't know. Sounds like a pretty good investment. Everything's supply demand driven. If there is a lack of supply, prices are going to go up. So grain. Ukraine, massive grain exporter. Suddenly can't export grain. Grain goes through the roof. Our farmers don't benefit from it, but everyone else does. Pound US dollar, already covered that. Go back, replay. ORB works great for me on NASDAQ. Yeah, the NASDAQ was pretty good today as well. So your 5-minute pre-market on the NASDAQ, you only got a 1 hour stop out. The short, however, boom, lovely short. So your NASDAQ short was 2R today. Something like 2 to 3, depending on where your stop was, but it would have been somewhere around there. So 3R. Support. Straight off of last week's, previous day's low. Or was that yesterday's low? That's where we bounced earlier, wasn't it? Yesterday's low. Really, really V-shaped recovery today, look. Anywho, yeah, except soybeans. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. If you're not in the Telegram group, go in the Telegram group or follow me on socials on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So I put out basically the stream message on all social media every morning. So I will, if I'm not coming on tomorrow morning, I will put out a post saying no live stream this morning. But we'll see. I need to wait and see what time the engineers come in for the internet tomorrow morning. So 7:50 tomorrow morning, same time. We'll have a look at the fallout from today and obviously trade the DAX again. And if that doesn't happen, tomorrow afternoon back 220 for the New York session for the NASDAQ and the Dow, and obviously have a look at how everything's going. News-wise, overnight, just be aware we have got unemployment rate for the Australian dollar tomorrow morning. So overnight, any Australian dollar you've got on, be prepared for big movement. Also, New Zealand will get dragged with the Aussie. So New Zealand, we've got the budget as well. Oh, yeah, and tomorrow, oh, yeah, there's no DAX tomorrow. So there is no DAX tomorrow. There we go. Don't trade the DAX tomorrow. Shut. So yeah, it's German bank holiday. DAX is German. So yeah, there's no DAX tomorrow morning. So yeah, be aware of that. I will come on. We'll do analysis tomorrow morning, but tomorrow is quite possibly going to be a fairly quiet session. We've got unemployment claims tomorrow afternoon, so New York will be busy, but we might well have a quiet morning apart from the Aussies. So hit and miss tomorrow, but be aware of that. If you've got any decent profit on overnight on the Aussies, might be worth banking it before the news. Okay, have a good one. Father's Day in Germany, is it? Excellent. I like Father's Day. Get lots of sweets. Have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow at some point, so stay tuned on the socials and have a good one. I'll see you guys tomorrow.